0 contradictions at the tomb. How long was Jesus in the tomb? Well, Matthew says 3 days and 3 nights. Mark says 3 days. And Luke and John say nothing at all. So are we adding the 3 days and nights together, or is it day, night, day, night, day, night, day, night? But then that would make a 4th day, so that doesn't really make sense. I'm not sure how to resolve that one. Alright, that's fine. I'm sure some apologist has some argument for it. Who's guarding the tomb? Matthew has a Roman soldier, but none of the others have any guard mentioned. And in Mark and Luke, there is a group of women, but they don't seem to expect any guards. When was Jesus anointed, and by whom? Matthew has Joseph wrap the body, and then the next morning the women come and anoint him. Mark, they just come back later at some point. Same thing with Luke. Now, John has it be Joseph of Arimathea, but he anoints him before the burial and doesn't mention anything about wrapping him. And of course, no mention of women. But again, I'm sure that we can make sense of this story somehow. Who visits the tomb? Well, Matthew has Mary Magdalene and a second Mary. Mark has Mary Magdalene, a second Mary, and Simone. Luke has Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, Jonah, and some other women. And then John just has Mary Magdalene. So Mary Magdalene for sure. The others, maybe they were there. When do they visit the tomb? Well, Matthew says about dawn, Mark says after sunrise, Luke says early dawn, and John says it's dark. So I guess it was dark about dawn in the early-ish dawn, but after sunrise. So yeah, no contradiction there at all. That's not a problem. Well, it is kind of dark during dawn / after sunrise. People get those times confused. You know, it happens. I mean, early dawn, about dawn, that's about the same. What was the tomb like? Well, Matthew says that the rock wasn't rolled away, but the others have it rolled away. Damn it, Matthew, you gotta ruin it for everybody. If we were doing fine, you gotta come along and screw it all up. Who greets the women? Okay, Matthew's got an angel that's outside. There's an earthquake and some Roman soldiers that freak out because of all that. Inside the tomb is where the women find that there's a guy there. And then Luke has some women, but not as many as Mark, go in the tomb, and like 2 guys just appear out of nowhere. And then John has women that don't want to go in the tomb, and there's 2 guys sitting in there. Maybe they're angels. I don't know. What do the women do? Well, Matthew has them tell everybody, hey, look what's going on. In Mark, the women don't tell anybody. Luke has them tell the 11 disciples, and then I guess everybody else. And then John has the women cry, and then 2 of the disciples are like, yeah, let's just go home. There are clearly contradictions in these different accounts. Admitting that, at least, makes the skeptic / atheist / anybody else that's out there that doesn't happen to already be a Christian say, hey, you're honest about this. That's good. An explanation for it is very simple. Different people at different time periods recorded what they knew about this event. Whether that information was first-hand, second-hand, or 10th hand, who knows? But nonetheless, there's different accounts. And maybe we could go a bit further and say Matthew might have maybe exaggerated just a bit about what was going on, because the others would have mentioned those things. I mean, those are significant events. An earthquake? Nobody else mentioned that? An angel? Nobody else mentioned that? And okay, there's a guy there, so the guy's supposed to be an angel, I guess. But then there's 2 angels sometimes, and then so is it 1 or 2, and are they inside or outside? Okay, you could somehow make the story make sense with many of the elements all being present, but you're still going to have to make some sacrifice somewhere for the story to be coherent at all. You're going to have multiple women You're going to have some of them not say anything, some of them tell the disciples, one of them or more cry, and you're going to have a couple of disciples there already, and then go home, I guess. And then the time of day, you're going to have it be dark around dawn after sunrise-ish. It's going to be a mess. It could be done, but it's going to be a mess. And that is something that apologetics supposedly is supposed to do. But instead, I've seen many apologists just say there's no contradictions in the Bible, or that there's no contradictions at the tomb, when clearly there are. And so I'm like, you're lying to me. Why do I want to listen to anything you say? You're lying. Don't stop it. Just don't do that. The exaggeration of Matthew, I think, is evidence, but that's just me. I think they're all exaggerating to some extent. And maybe none of these events happened in the way that they're describing at all. But maybe they did. But if you're going to try to convince me or others of these events, then lying about the source material is certainly not going to help in that endeavor. So what I'm trying to get through to the theist and or apologist that maybe hopefully is listening to this is admit the contradictions. Yes, you can probably resolve some, if not all of them. You can make a story that's coherent, but at least be honest with yourself and your audience. Don't label your video as that there's no contradictions. Don't say that there are none when there clearly are.